talking about why you started this for young girls?
Well, just because I realized when I was young I didn't have any, and I wasn't taught basic fundamental human skills. I wasn't taught how to manage my emotions. I wasn't taught about what my body actually was, and you know, I just was surrounded by women that hated their bodies. And when I travel around, I see that this is epidemic in girls the moment from so little, and boys now too, unfortunately, but because they're being affected by it. But young girls from very, you know, they start worrying about what they look like at such a young age, and that becomes obsessive, and it steals their life. And if you've got people that can give them simple truth and simple fundamental skills on how to manage what comes, whether they feel bad about themselves and what that means, and that you're not alone, and fun, playful ways to actually get connected to your truth and who you really are, to serve, to, you know, whatever it is. We're not taught these things in school. We're just not. And my next phase is I'm developing a teen workshop that'll be online for teen girls. And it'll be something completely free that we'll give away for mothers to give to their daughters.
But don't you think that some of this is, like, some of the knowledge comes from age and experience as well?
Oh, totally.
So it's like, you know, it is important. I have two daughters, 10 and 14, which is why I was asking you about teens and the age limits of the dance classes. But I just know for myself that it took me a lot of life experience. It took me having kids and being a mother to realize that some of those things don't matter. It's a journey to come to those conclusions on your own.
Right, and that's the joy of getting older, is that you can gain some wisdom because of the experience.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I meet lots of mothers that are terrified for their kids because they're like, she's repeating what I do.
Yeah.
And they still don't get it.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, some people still don't make it past, because this is our final frontier. Your body is your house. It is your temple. You know, and we have to confront it every day. How do we feed it? How do we feel? How do we take care of it? And when you're not given fundamental basic information that can really help you. I've met people that they're like, my mom loved her body and I never had body issues. I saw my mom like own her body, and I never dealt with it. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't see that very often, but it really is. They're going to repeat the patterns of their mother, right? If their mother doesn't like her body, you think the kids are going to like they're just going to repeat it. They're going to, and that's unfortunate. So for me, if I can create any kind of tools or resources for people to, it's like that serving. It's like, I know that's where I'm supposed to serve.
Yeah.
I'm here to serve the greater good of the psychological being of it, you know, whether it doesn't matter what age, because with Groove, like you said, what's the age limit? We do it with everybody, and we have family grooves where you bring your kids and you all dance together, and you just break that gap and just get people connected to their truth, a higher part of themselves, and not the external, the internal.
I think every individual has something in them that they're good at, that they can be of service. And I think once you find what that is for you, then you're on the right path.
Totally.
Like you're just going, because then you're not searching anymore. You're being led to behave a certain way by that greater good. I know it sounds really metaphysical and really silly, but like something else kind of takes over, and you're led to your purpose, as opposed to trying to figure out what it is.
Is this it? Is this
it?
I firmly believe that if you want to discover your purpose, it's not looking for it. It's just tuning in and going, what makes me happy? What brings me joy? It could be something as small as, you know, walking in the park. That might be something that could actually turn into something more, and to fill your life with the things that bring you joy, of whatever of service, and eventually it will be of something of service.
Yeah.
Because when you ask anyone, I just want to help people. I just want to, you know, do something I want to do this, and it ultimately is to help someone. Like, I wanted to dance, but at the end of the day, I wanted to help people. I want to help people connect. I want to help people feel good about their lives so that they are more effective in the world.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
More empowered. If you're not worried about all the stupid stuff that doesn't matter, you're a more effective human being.
Yeah.
You're more empowered, and your purpose will show you. Your purpose will just show up.
Well, I would just like to save the world's oceans with clear skin. And, you know,
flawless complexion.
Less cellulite, as I combat the world. Isn't that what we all want? on to save the world and look good doing it. Totally negated this entire half hour just now.
Totally. But the thing is that ultimately we really do as much, and this is what I find true about it's not an obsession. It's like now, like I love to do my hair, I love to dress, but I do it now for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
Like
you're more free now.
Yeah.
Totally, and I do it because I get to express myself, and I love to be pretty, and I love to adorn myself. Yes,
Absolutely.
Instead of
it's you
is
being
okay.
you.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's a
To be
totally
able to
different
enjoy
place.
it. Yes.
Well, talking about being pretty, how do you get more men to go see VR?
It started with maybe them joining their wife or saying, my God, you look really good, because a lot of wives will hide it from their husbands because they just, the husbands are like, no.
They need to think we're naturally
Absolutely
this
not,
way.
yes. And they're like, yeah, you're looking good, and that starts a conversation, or that they come into the office. And a lot of them are now just, there's younger men coming into the workplace, and then they're kind of looking like, oh, I need to get, maybe just a little bit under my eyes, or maybe I have this excess skin on my lids. They don't want to have surgery because, especially with men, when you have surgery, it completely changes the look. So they want to still look natural. And yeah, that opened the door of the natural way of doing things, and that they still look like themselves, and they're wanting to get that done for themselves.
The last time she was here, Zorianna, you were talking to her about I, Tanya. Give us a take on I, Tanya.
I watched it. I really enjoyed it. I kept thinking, I was texting my girlfriends like, oh, we need to go see this. I'm like, why are you so obsessed with this movie? It's been on my mind since the radio show. But yeah, we really enjoyed it.
And it's so topical now with the Olympics, because I've been watching the ice skating that's happening, and how the American did the first triple axel at the Olympics, and she won. And then today, speaking of eating disorders and men, there was an article with one of the in the New York Times with one of the male figure skaters who was saying how he spent years in the skating world being bulimic because he was so competitive. He kept saying, all these men, they're thinner than me, they're more agile, they can do the jumps better, and he for years had an eating disorder and suffered silently because he was striving for that perfection in the skating world, and it's not something that men ever talk about.
No, and it's actually becoming more and more of an issue because men now are being subjected to the same kind of criteria that women are. They have to have those perfect bodies and the six-pack abs, and they have to have the perfect flawless skin. They have to. And it really boils down to that we're obsessed with aesthetics. We're obsessed with the external. We're obsessed with what we look like, and it's not our fault. It really isn't. We're conditioned to it. Yeah. But we can wake up to it, and we can...
Well, just look at the Olympics and how much it is about the outfits, where it wasn't. Like, you look at even the skating announcers. 10 years ago, they all would have worn their North Face jackets and, hats to stay warm. Well, now you have, couture gowns by the judges who are all...
Are you serious?
Yeah, the announcers are all wearing, Johnny Weir has a different outfit. I mean, he looks fabulous, granted, but now we're looking forward to see what our skating commentaries, Oksana Bayul, what they're all going to be wearing, and they're wearing designer, sparkling, amazing gear, rather than just like a jacket to stay warm. So it has become about that, and so therefore even the skating outfits themselves by the competitors are just, amazing, whereas before it was just like a leotard, like a tutu essentially, but now it's everything.
Humans tend to take it just as far as they can.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's why you have your job.
Yes, exactly. And that's why you have yours. And that's
why you have yours. We all
I'll
have
save the oceans to make sure that there's space for you to save the brains.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But you're not dancing. You get a chance to go catch any movies at all?
No. I don't watch television. I don't watch movies. If I do watch a movie, it's because I'm on a 14-hour flight and I've got to fill the space. But I chose 15 years ago, I got rid of my television, and I realized all it brought me made me feel bad about myself.
Oh, yeah.
Even just watching the news, or even all of it, just really made me feel bad. So if I watch movies on a plane, I try to watch comedies, anything that will make me laugh. But violence really disturbs me, and that it's
you had a spiritual overtake, I get it, where you just cut out everything. That makes sense. A lot of people did do that.
Yeah, and you kind of have to build a fortress around you.
The other thing about that is, so with movies like, shows like Step Up or Dance-a-thon or whatever the case may be, You got to be happy about seeing those or hearing about those at least.
Dance moms.
Well, I haven't seen any of them.
Right.
But I've heard, and I just think it's awesome. But what I do love about movies is that it's a platform for artists to thrive. And I really, I honor that, and I think it's fantastic. So, but I didn't watch the dance movies because I'd feel bad that I wasn't a good enough dancer. I wasn't that good.
Ah.
So it's really interesting. I couldn't even watch So You Think You Can Dance.
Which
Because
is
I would
great.
always feel bad about myself.
Oh.
Well, you're not, if you're not a dancer.
No,
But when you're a
I wish I could do
dancer,
that.
you compare yourself and you're like, I'll never be that good, instead of
Yeah.
wow. And so I just chose that I knew for me it was best that I just honor where I'm at and what I do, and
I like that.
I wasn't strong enough at that time. And so, but then I just stopped watching. Since I never watch it, there was no need to actually start watching it. So I like to watch, documentaries and stuff like that. I'd really like to learn. I like to.
Then you like Chasing Thunder then?
No, that's what I mean. If someone
recommend
recommends,
to you.
is that a documentary about
Yeah.
what you're doing?
It's about one of our campaigns. It was our longest 110-day chase.
Oh, so I would love this.
This is very good.
Yeah,
In lawless land.
yeah. If it's a true story,
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
What have you seen lately? Anything?
What have I seen
I know you've
lately?
been busy.
There is a screening of Black Panther tonight, which
Yeah.
I'm debating whether or not I can make it in time from here. But I do want to see that. I want to see
Yeah.
that. I mean, I'm a little sick of all the Marvel movies. Feels like every month there's a new Marvel movie, and I can't keep up with the universe anymore. But, Black Panther, it's getting great reviews. So in this case, I'll follow the herd and check it out and see what it's
Well,
about.
you know what I saw Sunday? I saw Iron Man Sunday.
Oh, you did?
Uh-huh.
The first one?
Uh-huh. I went back to see the first one as I was watching The Handmaid's Tale
Oh my God.
at the same time. And then I was listening for your voice, so I heard your voice, which I thought was interesting. And I rewound it back because it was, what was it? It was on Netflix or something like that. I'm like, well, this is interesting. Who would have known?
Yeah, I played myself in that first Iron Man.
You were.
Zorianna, the newscaster. Yeah.
Oh, you were in that movie?
Iron Man was one of my favorites. Oh, I'll have to watch it.
Now I'll have to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, now you got a new movie to watch, huh?
I watched Iron Man a lot.
I
I'll
know, but
rewatch
it was,
too.
it was before any of those Marvel movies came out, so there was no hype, there was no, Robert Downey Jr. wasn't a big star, he hadn't proven himself yet with the Iron Man comeback film, so it was shot in LA, which after that, no Marvel film was ever shot in LA. They got tax breaks in every other state, so it was just, no one had expectations of this film, so,
Who would have known?
I went to the set, did my little lines, and went home, and it was fun. But yeah, it changed a lot for Marvel in and of itself too. Yeah.
Are you in the beginning and middle?
What happened was they shot a scene of him arriving at Disney Hall for an event, but then they realized that in the script he had gone into hiding. So it didn't make any sense, so they needed a bridge scene that would explain why he would show up. So they decided to have a journalist at the event talking about whether or not Tony Stark might show. He's been behaving weird, he could be in hiding, but there's a lot of people here, so no one knows if he will show. So that sort of debate then makes the character go, you know what, I'm gonna get in my car, I'm gonna go. So then that they were able to solve that. And so basically they called me because I was working in television journalism, and they said, can you do this? And I said, sure. And they were like, it'll be tomorrow, can you do it? Yeah, no problem. We haven't written what you're gonna say yet, so just give us a moment to figure that out, and then we'll email it to you when it's ready. Yeah, so then I came down to the set, and I was just, all naive and thinking like, no problem. But then you get there and you're like, oh my God, this entire setup is for me. Fake red carpet, extras in tuxedos and ball gowns, lights. And you're like, I'm the only one speaking here. Like, if I mess up and have to do this 25, 50 times, like, that's millions of dollars. Like, all of a sudden, pressure. Because before I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. But then, talk about mindset. I'm like, yes, I'm a journalist. This is what I do for a living. These are the kind of reports I do. So just, even though it's a fake setting, just, do it.
Be
So yeah, be you. Yeah. But of course, once they said action, I opened my mouth and like my mind went totally blank, like just blank. And then a light bulb exploded. And you know what? It's the equivalent of like breaking a glass to like break the ice, because after that light bulb exploded and it wasn't my fault. Like I opened my mouth and I didn't speak. But yeah, maybe I was speaking at such a high pitch that the light bulb exploded. So then they had to say cut, start over, and then everyone started over, and then that was it. I did it. It wasn't an issue, but it was just that first initial thing. I needed that light bulb to break so that I could, do it. Yeah.
Reset.
Yeah, totally. I needed to reset. Yeah, but it was fun. It was great.
So what movie are you going to recommend for her?
Yes, I'm obsessed with movies. It's
Yeah.
terrible, but I travel.
But you do. You gotta. Yeah, it's when you
I was
catch up.
downloading a movie for the plane already today, but yeah, I recommend all you want. I love movies.
Yeah.
Well, she was happy with I, Tanya, so that's a good thing. So your
Yeah.
track record is good so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, the Oscars are coming up. There's I can't say I'm excited about too many of the films, but for me personally, I like the Florida Project, and because that had a very real feel. It's about the projects in Florida of where people are living out of motels. And they're broken homes, a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, kids are left unsupervised, and they're all living in this motel that's run by a manager played by Willem Dafoe. And it's very much a slice of life type of a film. There's nothing slick about it. And the irony is that this motel is like right next to Disneyland, so it's like everyone's going to this fantastical, happiest place on earth, but you've got these motels that are just housing like the dregs of the world who
Right
are just,
outside the gates.
yeah, like the mother was prostituting herself, the kids isn't going to school, kids are left to their own devices, they're burning down buildings, it's a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a mess, but that's reality. I mean, that exists, and they cast actors who've never acted before, other than like Willem Dafoe. Everyone's a newcomer, and
I like
they did a great job. It was brilliantly done. And Willem Dafoe's nominated for Best Supporting Actor for
And
this
deserves
film. Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah.
So Florida Project, definitely check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Are you a big, huge Netflix fan when you're doing stuff too?
I am.
Because she turned me on to Hulu.
There's not much that I
Now
don't
love
have.
Hulu.
I have Hulu as well.
Yeah.
I only got Hulu. I canceled it because I didn't use it much, and then I got it again because of Handmaid's.
Me too. That's the only reason.
That's
Handmaid's
why
Tale.
they know what they're
Yeah.
doing. They
Yes.
know that they're going to get us
Oh my God.
by doing that.
Well,
I'm doing it on purpose.
Misty, I signed up because she was telling me we kept seeing Handmaid's Tale, and I hadn't seen it because I wasn't on Hulu. Now I'm watching everything on Hulu. I actually went through a list Sunday.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I did something like that.
So is Hulu the same as Netflix?
It's like that.
And you can also catch up on your shows that if you missed it, like So You Think You Can Dance, you missed it on Wednesday, you can catch it on Thursday.
So I can go back and watch all those
You
seasons
sure
I never
can.
saw. And now that I'm more secure with myself, I think I can handle it.
Or it'll test your security level.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
actually now I think I can really appreciate it because
Yeah.
now there's such a distance. I mean, that was years and years ago. Now it's just, now I can be entertained.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got about 5
Entertaining,
minutes
yeah.
left. Talk about, what do you think about fashion? What's your point of view on that?
I love fashion.
Why?
Well, because I think it's a form of expression.
Okay.
But I think ultimately, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, because when I'm at home, I'm hanging around in almost nothing and it doesn't really matter. But I love clothing just because it allows me to express myself. And I think it's fun. It's fun to use clothing to have an outward expression. And your personality comes up. I love it. I don't really care about it. Like, I don't follow fashion. I don't know who designers are. I don't buy name brand things. I just go and pick up, from the thrift shops and stuff. Like, I really don't know, but I love clothing.
You're already fashionable anyhow, so.
I love clothing too. It's like a little too much.
Fashionista.
No, thank you.
What's wrong with that?
No, fashion's fun.
No, yes, and I agree with you. It's just that form of expression,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It just makes you, or it makes me feel good when I buy something new and I can't wait to put it on, and I don't know, the confidence. I guess like what we were talking about with the devices and bringing your skin back 10 years when we're in their 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, kind of the same thing, you know, you just feel better.
I love watching preschoolers and their fashion because at that age, those kids, they have a clear idea of what they want to wear. Like, I'm going to be a mermaid every day of the week for the next year. You know? Like, and that is their expression.
Yes.
Or I'm going to wear a tutu every day. Or I'm going to wear these boots or shoes or a sweater. And kids are amazing that way. And my 10-year-old, when she was younger, we used to always, and this gives away my age a little bit, but it was like, she was like Punky Brewster. I mean, she, just the mishmash of sparkles and polka dots and stripes and zebra prints and everything was just like a rainbow throw up on her. Like, just like everything. And she loved it. And I just loved that, you know?
Yeah.
Loved it.
And that's authentic.
Yeah.
When you said Punky Brewster, I had Punky Brewster shoes. Like, well, I thought they were Punky Brewster shoes. And my mom's like, they were these plastic, like pink and purple and blue plastic shoes. And I could not let you go out of the house, but you would throw a fit.
Yes,
my Punky
exactly.
Brewster shoes.
It's the Punky Brewsters,
Like,
the Pippi
them.
Longstockings, like those characters just wore whatever, and they were awesome for that because they never cared what anyone else thought, and they were my heroes. Those were the ones that I wanted to be like because I wanted to achieve that state of mind. It's not like I wanted Pippi Longstocking's, you know, patched dress. But I mean, I did want those like sponges. I did want those because she used to clean her floor with these sponges on her shoes, so she would like water skate around her kitchen. So that I wanted, but I don't think those even exist. So I'll have to invent them myself. But it's the mindset of her that I wanted, like Little Orphan Annie. You know, she lived in an orphanage, didn't have family, but she was spunky, and she protected her dog from like the street kids who were trying to get the dog, or she stood up to whoever if they were like it's that fearlessness of like standing up for what's right and not caring what others think because you know yourself and you know who you are and what path you're on. Like they're great role models.
Yeah. And they're the ones, and this is when you think about it, like the greatest leaders in all forms of art, from music to dance, are the ones that do it their own way. And when you learn from that, you're like, oh, as long as I'm a follower, and I'm just copying someone else.
Yeah.
But to use fashion to have your own voice, to use it all to have your own voice and to express yourself, I think it's very powerful. We have to wear clothes, unfortunately, but we do. So because of that, you know,
so make it your own.
Exactly, like I'm in the process of designing my own line of clothing. Because
Nice.
I know what I like, I know what I want to wear, and I know what feels good on my body, and I'm like, I don't see it out there, so I'm just going to make it.
Yeah.
So
That's what Pippi Longstocking did.
Yeah.
that's how we rock it.
All right, Zorianna, last time around, Sea Shepherd.
SeaShepherd.org and click the donate button to donate to all our campaigns. Thank you.
Misty?
Bodygroove.com/Misty or theworldgroovemovement.com.
And where are you going to be coming up? March, April?
March, April, I'm heading out to Costa Rica again. I'm going to be doing a retreat there called Pura Vida Wellness, and then I'll be back here in LA for a couple weeks to do some more filming.
Nice.
All right.
It's vioramed.com, and we have a physician's locator button. You can click on it, and wherever you live, you can find your closest doctor.
And your travel schedule, if anybody can catch up to where you may be.
Oh my
Comments or anything like
gosh.
that?
Well, I'm sorry?
Wherever you may be.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I don't even
'Cause you're
know
all
what
over
to
the place.
say. I'm all over the place. International and states.
International too. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm Brian Sebastian. This has been Movie Reviews and More on the Women's Broadcast TV Network. I want to thank everybody for coming because you guys make me laugh. I didn't even say anything breaking because I was just laughing inside. And again, if you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours because there's a lot of people out there that need it. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Thank you.